everyone, welcome back to A Buzz with Your Cuz. Today it is Miller time. Yeah, nobody's excited for that, but today it's really super interesting. This is a collaboration video with Flour, Eggs, and Yeast. Welcome if you've come over there. If you recognize me from there, great. If not, I look like the guy over there, I'm told. I don't know. I just drink the beer. Why were we doing a collaboration with Miller Lite? Well, it's their 50th anniversary. They cranked out a Pringles collaboration themselves. This is grilled beer brats. This is beer can chicken. And Pringles. If you want a review on these, check it out. It's over on Flour, Eggs, and Yeast. They'll comment below, or they'll be in the description. You'll know how to get there. But Pringles chips. Why in the hell would Pringles chips do a collaboration with Miller Lite and vice versa? Well, again, it's the 50th anniversary of Miller Lite, which is quite an achievement. Now, I know that we do like German breweries and other breweries that have been around for hundreds of years, but this one is a uniquely American beer. They've done a lot of things in the market, like they were the very first successful light beer, starting back in 1975, right, 50 years ago. Tastes great, less filling. That was the big marketing campaign. It's still going. It started a trend, right? There are other light beers, they failed. They were maybe almost, calling themselves like diet beers and so on. Nobody wants a diet beer, right? So they went out, they actually purchased, look at this can. This is what grabbed my eyes, folks. 50th anniversary is the golden anniversary, I guess. How do I know? But anyway, does have the nice 50th on the back there with a little story. Now this beer fancies itself a Pilsner, friends, but I can tell you that this is an American lager. So they get, sounds good. They get their hops from the Pacific Northwest and from the Czech Republic, so they also use the noble hop of Saz. So let's get this in the cup while we talk here. So you can see that it is a very light, and it's not just a volume chugger, which is really quite interesting, because in the Super Bowl in 2025, the one that just passed, if you're watching it in calendar year 25, great carbonation, great head on the beer. They were accountable for 34% of the draft beer pulls during the Super Bowl, which was the market leader. They dominated the draft beer segment. Who knew? Again, they've actually won gold with this at the Great American Beer Festival, so take that with it as you will. There is corn syrup in this beer recipe that they got from a chemist. This used to be Meisterbräu, and they reformulated it and rebranded it as Miller Lite, and it became the very first successful light beer. And then, Bud Light and Coors Light and everybody else kind of piled in afterwards. So they led the segment, they led the way, they proved that they could make a low-calorie beer that tasted good enough, and where you can maintain the manliness of drinking beer, if you will. At the time, women weren't really known to drink beer in the 70s and 80s, at least not in pop culture. So they went out and they got Dick Butkus and Bob Uecker and Smoking Joe Frazier, the boxer, to do advertising campaigns with them to really cement this as a beer that a guy could drink and have less calories and less carbs. Tastes great, less filling. That was the campaign. It still holds true today. They brought it back. So right off the bat, I will tell you that this is one of those beers that you can get roasted for. And I'm just here to tell you about the truth of the beer. I'm not going to advocate that everybody needs to drink this or that this is the greatest thing in the world. Knowing that there's corn syrup in the brew recipe, you can taste it and you can almost smell it. There's a very grain smell to it. One of the things that Miller Lite happens to Miller Lite when you get it out a lot is it can be skunked, right? It can be mishandled, it can be left in the heat. It has a weird taste to it. This one is very fresh. So this is probably the best Miller Lite I've had in years. And I don't drink a lot of Miller Lite because of the skunking issues. But that said, it has it's a very light smell. Almost like a cereal. You can smell like a cereal, not a malty bread, but like a very light cereal, very light hops. This was not meant to be complex, friends. This was not meant to be the holy grail IPA beer. This was meant to be super easy drinking, low bitterness, well balanced. And there's the malt to hops leave it pretty net neutral, so that corn flavor really comes in a little bit. I don't hate it. I've drank a lot of this over the years. Usually it's in group gatherings. You know, people get a party, grab a keg, grab a 12 pack or whatever. That's generally how I get this. I don't really order this at restaurants unless there's nothing else on the menu that I want. But this is something you would drink at a sporting event, a backyard barbecue. Perhaps you go to the beach or a boat, stuff like that. You know, you're not sitting down to pair this with food, right? It's Miller Lite, friends. Again, they say it's a Pilsner. I'm calling it a pale American lager. Either way you look at it, it's a good, cheap beer. I don't know if that's controversial or not, but it's an inexpensive beer that you could drink easily, and it's not supposed to bloat you, which is nice in the summertime, quite frankly. Flavor does not linger, so you have to want to drink it. There's nothing in here pulling you back in for another sip. Although again, you can chug this thing quite easily, and out of the 4.2% alcohol, so it's not bad. It's a little bit higher than some of the other American beers, but for a light beer, 4.2%, not bad. If you're a seltzer drinker, this might be for you. I know Miller does some seltzer collabs and stuff like that. From the ashes of Meisterbrow all the way through 50 years, huge accomplishment in today's market, with less people drinking beer and less people drinking alcohol and turning to other coping mechanisms, I assume, right? When I was a kid, there was not a lot of other alternatives for social anxiety and stuff like that. So it was a good old beer, right? Couple of bucks and a couple of these and you're good to go. Everybody's your friend. And that's the way we want to leave you here today. If you agree with Miller Lite or disagree with it, please put it in the comments. I don't want to discount the 50 years, and I want to make sure that this beer is judged in the category in which it belongs. Super pale American lager. I would not put this up against anything else other than Coors Light, Miller Lite, and maybe a local craft brewery that's just starting in the light beer game. So keep your expectations where they're supposed to be. Drink what you want to drink. That's always the best. But for 50 years, I couldn't pass by this bright gold can. Raked me right in. And hey, today we celebrate the original light beer that was successful. Not the first, but at the time the best. There it is, a fine Pilsner. I think there are a lot of Pilsner creators who would argue that. But please, argue in the comments, follow us here, hit the thumbs up, check out the chips, right? That's how we all wound up here in the beginning, is the Miller Lite Pringles. Check these out over on Flour, Eggs, and Yeast. And that is your Buzz with Your Cuz. We got some more things that might be a little bit less familiar, but no less than you will be when we're done. So that's your Buzz with Your Cuz. And I am gonna finish this, and I'm gonna do it alone. Stop judging me.